G'day there. Welcome back to the race side. Great to have you back for another live show, another discussion. We're getting closer to Christmas, but we are right bang in the middle of Skeleton Crew right now, which is really exciting. Episode 4 just dropping. Of course, we're going to do this quick little funky little live right now to chat our immediate thoughts of the episode, get our feelings out, and get prepped for our big official review tomorrow. But I can't wait to talk about this recent episode. Let's get it on the screen. So if you come in, you know we're talking about spoilers. If you haven't seen the episode, this might not be the time to jump in. But if you have, let me know what you thought of the episode. Episode 4. These episode names, first off the bat, super hard to remember. I don't even know what this. It was like I can't remember. No, at Atten. Like I think that was the episode name. Insane names. Like why? Why do you name it something like that? Absolutely crazy. But interesting episode. I've got a lot of thoughts to share, so cannot wait to hear your thoughts and review. Nathan, how you doing? I'm having a fantastic day. Now, even better because you're here, so thank you so much. Nathan, Melodies is here. Skywalker's Academy, of course, in the chat. Thomas is here. Neil has a girlfriend. Literally, I thought that was so sweet. The little cheek kiss. I could feel that coming. I knew that was coming, but that was so sweet. I thought that was really something. Guess the kids are in more trouble now, says Entertainment Fan. Yeah, I guess so. But I like the mystery. I like what we're unraveling here, that we're really discovering that Atten has so much behind it, and there's so much reason to it being unknown, and people can't get to it. I've got some theories going on, but yeah, definitely. I think they're just increasingly getting in more trouble. I agree. Hey Trent, how you doing? Daisy in the chat. I'm obsessed with the recent episode. I had a bad feeling about SM33 from the start. It felt very like Wrecker season 1 of Bad Batch when his inhibitor chip activated. It felt very that, where it's like, this is our friend, and then suddenly he's against us. But I'm not a massive fan of Smee, actually. I'm not a massive fan of him. So I was like, yeah, take him down. I don't know. Can't say I remember no Atten. Yeah, that's the title. Like I can't even fit that all in my show title right now. That's insane. Like that as an episode title, that's hilarious. Phantom Menace Dennis comes in. Fun episode. I literally bust out laughing when Neil fainted at the end. That was really great. It really was a standout episode for Neil. I think he really shone in this one. Do we think Jod is SM33's old captain? I think I had that thought halfway through the episode. I was like, there's still something sus with him going on. Like the fact that whole EOP, people against people thing that they got involved with, and the fact that Jod just was like, oh yeah, I solved it. That felt weird. So I still think he's really, really sus. Saj coming in. Really didn't like this episode, aside from 3 moments, ending sequence included. Other than that, I was ready for it to end at the first 15 minutes. Just boring, absolute nonsense on the planet. Yeah, it's definitely just such a different feel. I think this show they prefaced it to be very different, and it's living up to that. And the style and just whole storytelling practice is something I think up for debate, because it's really interesting. I thought about it throughout the episode. I'm like, how much is this Star Wars? How much is this just a sci-fi show? And I think before Disney Plus, there was a very definitive sort of description you can give. But now with these shows, it's quite hard. It's quite hard to discern between sci-fi and Star Wars, which I think there should be a better distinction. There was one moment in the end, I will say, there was one moment in the final sequence when SM33 starts to kind of change, and he's like, oh, I gotta rip your limbs off. And he starts getting ready to attack the kids, where there was this GoPro POV angle that it looked like the camera was attached to his head, because the angle, this is the camera, the angle was of his head, but is motion tracking him. I did not like that at all. For me, that really took me out of that moment. because I felt like I was watching like a snowboarder snowboard down a slope and do a trick, because it felt like he had a camera on his helmet, like what you do in sports and surfing and snowboarding and any, skateboarding, whatever. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? That moment where it's like that little, tracked motioned like POV. I didn't love it. Felt like a horror movie. There was that one moment when the different enemy clan showed up at the ship. That was creepy as hell. That was so out of the mist. I was like, this is so creepy. So creepy. JS coming in and saying, okay, I'd say a bit of a step down from today's episode, but really enjoyable. It was interesting to see on what other planet looks like, what another planet looked like. And I like Neil's character growth, but my God, the ending. Oh, sorry, that's the second part. Felt like a horror movie, and I love that. And also, I thought Neil died, but he's okay. Yeah, he's okay. I don't think they'll kill off Neil at this point. I don't think they'll kill him off yet. But something you mentioned here, JS, I want to point out, because the one highlight for me of this episode is that lore of there's these other planets, and we're discovering more about these other planets that are similar to At-Aten. Like today's planet, what was that called? Like At-Archen or something? At-Achen or something? I thought that was interesting, and how they're all very similar, and even similar in all the schools different, and the houses kind of look different from what we could tell of the rubble. I found that very fascinating, and again, just that question of who's in charge of all this is I love those little tidbits we're getting in there. It's interesting. It's a good time. Yeah, at Akron? I don't know. Draco coming in saying, love this episode. You can tell TikTok brain is strong in a lot of people who say it's boring. They are telling the story and doing it well. I think it's just I wouldn't say it's boring. It's you either connected with it or you don't. I think that's what I would put it down to. I think that's what I would put it down to. I wouldn't call it TikTok brain though. There was it's really interesting. There was some real standout moments. There's a few shots that I absolutely loved. But yeah, Daisy, do you get me? That angle, that there was just that POV angle. Didn't love. Hey, Julie, how you doing in the chat? Good to see ya. Yeah, what was the other? They said some other ones. I want to go in and I'm assuming it's Aurebesh. I don't know if it's not Aurebesh or not. I want to go in and translate it because I want to see what the other planets are doing. So is the rest of the show going to be them going to those other At-Aten variants to find coordinates to At-Aten? You know what? I think you've got I think you've got a solid thought here. I think we could definitely possibly see kind of doing a bit of planet hopping, see what's happening on each of the other planets, which would be sort of cool because I think this does build if there's going to be this big reveal at the end. I can see now that could be a pretty solid conclusion for the series or the season. Is the finale is finally getting back to At-Aten, finding out who's the supervisor and taking them down. I can see how that can be a good finale for this show, to be honest. Yeah, interesting. Do you agree that camera angle felt so odd, but it did give me horror vibes with what he was doing. But yes, it was very odd. Yeah, it felt very like the actual idea of that I liked. But it's very interesting, the whole Smee droid. So he had a crew, and he had some sort of captain that knew At-Aten, but killed any of the crew that found out where the coordinates to At-Aten were, and then clearly, because this is what I want to break down, is that clearly they got there. Clearly they did have the coordinates. Clearly they read them. Smee destroyed it. They got back on the ship and they flew to At-Aten, and they crash landed on At-Aten because obviously the ship was on At-Aten. So the question is, Smee was out of commission or whatever, not working, stuck on the ship. But where's the captain? Or did the captain die on the ship? Because remember there was that skeleton, a few skeletons on the ship. There was that. Was that the captain? Or do we think, going back to the parents, the whole parent thing, do they know that who the captain was? is like Wim's dad, captain or something. Because maybe the captain got to the planet, but realized like they needed to like blend in with the people or populace to like get the riches or something. Or maybe the captain of the Onyx Cinder became the supervisor. Oh, so many theories. So many theories. Crazy. Seems like the pirate wanted to flee to At-Aten with the droid, and he killed the crew to keep it to himself, but likely died when they crashed on At-Aten and remained there until the kids find it. So do you think he's dead? Do you think the captain was one of those skeletons that they found? Maybe going through the barrier damaged the ship. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Like something flying through it. Maybe it cuts out all like electrical devices or something. And then it like, yeah, I can see that happening. I can see that happening. Thank you, Julie. I'm doing my best here. Oh, yeah, I do not think John Smith's original captain. Who said that earlier? But I kind of get there was like a weirdness. There's still such a weirdness with Jod, which I am enjoying that mystery still. I'm loving that they're not really coming out with it and saying it, but they're keeping that weirdness. Like, why did he immediately solve the enemy problem? I get the whole, I just gave him credits, but that felt too easy. I still feel sus about that. But I love that they're not telling us straight away. $2 dues coming in from Rossi. Thank you, my friend. Much love, much love. Hannah, don't remember anything about no At-Aten. I love it. I don't. I really don't. Thank you so much for the $2 dues. Appreciate it. Died from the crash, but has a dagger stuck in his chest. So I gotta go back and watch, was it the second episode that we saw, or second, or even last week's episode that we saw? Was either they saw a few skeletons when they first arrived, wasn't it? And then Jod saw that skeleton that was like stuck in the wall. Where is that from? Maybe Bailey. That is yet to be confirmed. Wim's dad is the original pirate. I know. That's what I'm like, because think back to that brief moment that we saw at the start of last week's episode when they had that kind of intervention with like the security droid and was like, oh my God, our kids are gone. Security droid's like, we can't do anything. And like all the other mums were like freaking out. And they're like, oh my God, but our kids. And then Wim's dad was just sitting there thinking, like, why was he not just like confused, frantic, being like, what's going on? Like he kind of was. But he also had that scene where he was just like thinking. And I'm like, what is he thinking about? Is he trying to be like, was this the doing of that ship that, like, does he know something? I feel like he knows something. Yes. Oh, right. Who mentioned this before as well? The Lego set of the Onyx Cinder actually looks so good. And every time seeing this ship more and more in this show, I'm loving it. I think the ship looks so cool. I'm very, very like stoked about that design. It's so cool. There are at least 2 skeletons on the ship. 2 skeletons. Okay. There is. Yeah. All those like AT-AT, speak of At-Aten, all those AT-AT like pilot helmets and everything. I saw a lot of those. Star Wars Fanatic coming in with a hot take. We love a good hot take here. The captain is a droid. His crew were droids. There are no other droid pirates anywhere. The captain buried the ship and became the supervisor. I half agree with this theory because I think maybe the captain's got something to do with the whole supervisor thing. But that's an interesting thought that we're just assuming that's a human or humanoid. But perhaps the captain is indeed a droid. That's an interesting theory. The only contest to that theory is that I don't think his whole crew can be droids because there were 2 human/humanoid skeletons on the ship. So that's got to mean something. But maybe SM-33 is the captain. I don't know. So he could have easily crashed out and killed his captain or got damaged, lost control. He's a loose cannon. He's got a loose cannon. 100%. Men was thinking rationally while they panicked. Yeah. E3 is the one where Job pulls the dagger out and keeps it. Oh, episode 3. Right. Gotcha. Nathan, what do you got for me? Wim's dad knows something. I've been suspicious of him ever since last week when he put his glasses down, when he heard they could get an appointment to meet the supervisor. Okay. So it was that moment, was it? That's good to know. So that's why I'm like, Wim's dad knows something. There's a reason why he's busy at work. That's gonna come back around when we eventually get back to Atten. There's gonna be something. There's gotta be something there. Oh, it's so good. The High Republic doesn't make sense. The fact that Wim knows as much about the Sith as he does tells me they've been isolated for far longer. Recall the Jedi tried to erase the Sith from history. I think what you're kind of questioning here is in turn with the whole mystery of this planet, because it's not clear, like, how much they know and don't know. Like, how do they know Coruscant and Alderaan, but they don't know Alderaan's gone by this point, and why those planets are they familiar with, and how long before that had they been cut out on like reality and current news. So I think what you're bringing up here is like in turn with the whole mystery of it. I definitely think there's a lot to be questioned. Matthew coming in saying, when the ship first took off, it was uprooting huge trees that grew above it. The ship must have been there for hundreds, if not thousands of years. I think the original crew has been long dead. That's a good point. That is a good point. Unless the supervisor goes back to whoever thought of that crackpot theory that it's a droid, or the other theory that maybe it's a humanoid that, you know, all other Star Wars species can live for so long afterwards. So could be that. Could be that. What do you got from Julie? Curious to all your thoughts why Atten is kept so in the dark by people running the planet. There's a few theories. There's a few thoughts that I'm kind of agree with and think. I think one. Hang on. I think the one thing to point out is the idea of the great work. So the thing that they keep mentioning, the great works, that is something that is brought up in the High Republic. That is a High Republic thing that existed back then, that was happening back then. And there's a lot of this lore behind. They didn't want kind of this galaxy-wide map, and everything was by very specific trade routes and very specific, what do they call them? Hyperspace lanes. And only certain people and certain places could know how to get to other places. And things were very, very controlled back then. And the expansion of the galaxy wasn't really taken off yet. So there's also another thing to mention of the villains of the High Republic phases and story and era. The Nile are these just kind of marauding, almost pirate-like, but just super evil, marauding group of people. And it's, I have a feeling that's in the books, and granted, not everyone's read the books, like only a few people have. I think this Nile, which is this group of evil villains, might have something to do with this dark planet. I think this is coming from the books. I think. What was the question again? Why is it kept so in the dark? It's got to be some control thing. Someone's got to. They probably are outputting some sort of work, some sort of control to, be, where it's power, money, riches, or something. If they keep talking about it's a treasure planet, maybe the supervisor just wants all the riches for themselves. I think there's something in that for there. The Bendu is the captain. Oh my god, the Bendu. I am the Bendu, the one in the middle, the one on that atom. I love it. I would wish and dream every day of that, Serge. I like that. Ooh, could Sifo Dyas wipe the records like he did for Camino? That would be like an insane deep cut. That would be crazy if it's like, that's what, like, why doesn't like everyone else know about this planet or how to get there? Sifo Dyas. It all comes back to Sifo Dyas. He wiped everything, didn't he? Classic. The popular theory is Atten is the First Order workforce. Oh, that's a cool one. I like that. I like that a lot. That could be the First Order's sort of hideout, because we know they were very secretive, obviously. Shadow Council in building up their powers. That's a cool one. I like that, Fedora. Very good. A lot of best of the shit they keep saying in the show. That is true. $5 Edos coming in from Mike. Thank you so much for the big soupy Mike. I hope you have a Merry Christmas. Yoda's race is descended from the North Pole elves. What a concept, but I can see that. You just got to push the ears down. Amazing. Thank you so much, Mike, for the $5 dues, and a Merry Christmas right back at you. Hope you're having a good holiday period. These are test isolated planets they could know about the Old Republic Jedi and the Sith have nothing to do with the main High Republic society. That's true. Of course, for the First Order. Yeah, I like that. I haven't heard that one. Someone talk to me more about this. I have not heard more about this First Order theory, but it's a thing. For any of those who's in here that's read a lot of the new canon books, is it like, tell me more about the First Order if you know about it. Because I know there's been a lot of First Order kind of like establishing in the books. The book that I always quote, and do I have it back here? I don't think it is back there. The book that I always talk about, Bloodline, that has a lot of First Order kind of beginnings in it. Yeah. Oh my God, my hair on my face today is tickling me like no end. It's hilarious. Yeah, where's Kirsty? Wake up, Kirsty. They all seem to be on the planet. Yeah. Yeah, but Wim has like all these like devices with all these stories on it. The Hook coming in. What a on point name for like a pirate show. Captain Hook. There you go. The Hook coming in. I love this. Thank you. I love that you're here and a part of it. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate you. Don't know what else to think about. I don't have any theories. What about, have you heard of this First Order theory? I like that. I like that a lot. First episode where they couldn't see beyond the sky. Yes. Well, Julie, I always bring up that Clone Wars episode from season 1 where Kenobi and Anakin go and get that root from this weird planet. And the kid Jabo is there. And Jabo's like got these like droid B1 and Voss droid servants for him. And he's like, oh, once you guys get here, like you can't leave because there's like a force field above us. And the whole Clone Wars episode is just about Kenobi and Anakin like trying to leave on the Twilight. Anyway, very similar to that. There's some sort of barrier. There is some sort of barrier. There's red dots everywhere. I don't know. No, no one else does. It wouldn't make sense to randomly educate these test subjects on galactic history. I'm gonna go down on a limb here. I think you maybe can just thinking about this part of very hard. You're really committing to this concept. I think it'll be revealed. Like, obviously, I think the big revelation of the show will be why is this planet in kind of just the shadow of this knowledge and not really up to date with things. So we'll find out. We'll definitely find out. Oh my God. Hey, Dad. Read out in the house and feeling generous. That's so nice. Thank you. Thank you for the $10 dues, Dad. Appreciate it. Thank you. Goes right back into... No, actually it doesn't go back into it because you always feed me when we hang out, so I guess so. I love it. Nathan coming in saying, what if Atten is the first prototype for Starkiller base? It would be very Empire-like to create 2 planet destroyers. That could be something, talking about this First Order thing. Maybe some sort of planet where they need to... And another concept that I've mentioned before in terms of all these theories is think of how the Empire had, Andor, Narkina 5, the prison. They built like all the parts of the Death Star, but like no one knew about it. They kept it so hush-hush, but they needed people to build it. So what if the planet is a similar thing? Supervisor, some sort of First Order. I'm going with that theory because I love that theory, First Order thing. They need to keep everything hush-hush, so they make everyone stay on the planet. You can't leave. All the analysis and all their, working, all these parents are working so hard all the time. Maybe that's all for building something that is the First Order. Maybe it's that. I like that. I kind of think they were testing people. Someone is. How would people act if totally isolated from the rest of the galaxy? Total compliance? Yeah, I think so. It's got to be the answer. Matthew coming in with my long shot theories that Wim's mum managed to leave the planet somehow. That while the kids travel looking for their way home, they will stumble across her. That's actually kind of a sick theory. Did someone mention this at the Masters meeting maybe? Someone mentioned this at some point. of what if Wim's mum is still alive, and what if I think maybe it was UDB. I think you said like if Wim's mum maybe spoke against the whole planet of Atten and spoke against the supervisor, spoke against what they were doing, and maybe she's like imprisoned on the planet because she like spoke out against it. Or the other side where it's like she's the supervisor and she's the one in charge of everything. So it's like maybe she's really good, and like I like this theory, Matthew, that like she's off the planet, she escaped, and that's why they're just like really hardcore now, being like, do not leave. So maybe she's out in the galaxy. Interesting. I like that. I'll give you $20 if that comes true. Oh, it's so good. Whoa, $20 dues coming in from Serena. Thank you so much. Big soupy. Thank you. Got a Shin Lego minifigure at the Dallas Fan Expo, rewatching Ahsoka and excited about season 3. Do you mean 2? But I want a season 3, so yeah, hopefully. Skeleton Crew is getting better. Big fan of the First Order theory. Did you ever watch the Young Jedi Adventures? So many questions, Serena. First of all, amazing Lego figure at the Expo. Mwah. Shin Hati, great character. How good's Ahsoka? It's a great show. And yeah, how good's this First Order theory? I'm liking it so hard. Did you ever watch the Young Jedi Adventures? No. I mean, I think if I had like younger siblings or younger nieces or nephews or kids or something, I would, but I have no need to right now, I guess. But from all that I see from people that do have kids or like young people, family members that watch it, they say they love it. I often get messages from like family friends that have young kids, and they're like, they know that I do Star Wars and I love Star Wars, so they'll message me being like, hey, like so and so is like loving Young Jedi Adventures. So it's really cool for the kids. I think the kids are really loving it. But thank you so much for the big soupy. Thank you, very generous. Wasn't you DB? Okay, who am I thinking of? Who am I thinking of? Easy 8.5 out of 10 Star Wars. They're coming in and saying that's interesting coming from you, actually. Very interesting, but fair enough. That's a high score. Barely any of the shows they've done have been consistent with the rules. What's established? Well, I'll dispute that. But you know why. You know why I'll dispute that, Sedge. We won't get into it now. Maybe Wim's dad has been spinning a lie and doesn't want him to ever find out. That's true. Maybe that's why he's really kind of like, as a parent, kind of distant from Wim, because he's just like trying to keep this secret from him of like his mum or something else. I don't know. I think, yeah, there's something with Wim's dad that's got to be explained surely. What if those planets were destroyed by the Hidden Empire, the one that the twins belong to? What? The twins? Who? What are you talking about? Planets destroyed by the Hidden Empire. What are you talking about? I don't know what you're talking about. What twins? Which twins? Star Wars Nerd coming in, gifting 1 Rayside membership. Thank you so much for sharing that Rayside love. Appreciate ya. I think I can't see who got it, but well done. $2 dues. Yes, I missed season 3. Yeah, I got you. But I think we're on the same wavelength. I want a season 3, 4, and 5. Oh my god, I want more. 100%. Love this show since ep 1. 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10, 9 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10. Those are really high scores. I love it. Valinor's sons? What? Valinor? Wait, what? You talking Razor Power? What are you talking? What? You to care, then you're probably going to have to turn to piracy. They learned no lessons. Yeah, it is interesting, and especially seeing the X-Wings in last episode. You know, they're just kind of this really blank police force, essentially. Sorry, typed something. What dates are you going for Japan? That's gonna be April. I forget about it. I forget. It's like April 15th to the 23rd. I think I'm going. 15th to 23rd, I think. Roughly then. I'm there for like 3 days beforehand, and then celebration, and then I am planning to leave on the Tuesday after. Crackpot theory is all the other planets got destroyed by a thought bomb, and Jod is Darth Bane. Oh, okay, here we go. Now we're cracking onto something. Unreal. Oh, there you go. Or from that one CGI trailer. Yeah, I think that's what's so interesting. And like, yeah, going back to the whole like lore part of like all this, it's like, it is interesting how like there's some parts of like Old Republic stuff that's like kind of canon, kind of not canon. Then there's the High Republic era, which is the new canon, but that's not necessarily dismissing what is the Old Republic, and like SWOTOR times. But it's pretty convoluted. It's not that clear right now, is it? Thank you, Bailey. Best channel for Star Wars. Thank you, man. Appreciate that. But yeah, to this episode specifically. It didn't. I think the last episode I liked more. Like it's hard to put a number on this one. There was a lot of moments that I really liked. I think there was a lot of value in a lot of the scenes, but there was just some moments that I just was like, okay, this has got an interesting vibe to it. The only issues that I had with some of the CGI looks like I have no clue what I'm doing with VFX. Other than that, the rest looked amazing. Yeah, I would agree. Except for that weird camera angle, I was a happy chappy. I think it was pretty good. But yeah, overall for the episode, it's hard to rate it. It's not wowing me. It's not blowing my mind, but I'm enjoying the journey. And as you know, as what we've done here today, like the theorizing and the whole mystery element, I think is a really great story. I think they've thought of a really great story to tell here, and they're doing it well. The actual details of the episode, Thrower coming in and saying, I'm going to experience a heel turn with Jod. I feel like they could just subvert expectations in a good way by not doing a heel turn. I think that's got to be the part of the story. He's got to betray the kids at some point, but it was interesting to see in this episode him being like, I'll come in and save you and like come get you. That was interesting. But I think there's got to be something, especially when they get to At-Aten. I think he'll like, when they get there, kind of go against them, but then have a change of heart. I feel like we'll get that kind of system. It's the episode that wasn't true. Maybe all the other planets exist, but their civilizations fallen apart from war. That's a good point. That's a great point. That's definitely could be the case. Great pickup, Matthew. Imagine how important if they have to be hell bent on destroying planets. True. At Aten, at A2, at Arkan, at Arisia, at a Raven, at Akoda. Wow, that's 6 of 9. Wow, 9 planets. There you go. But yeah, I definitely, yeah. The minute details of the episode, kind of so-so, but the whole mystery and kind of where we're going with this, I mean, I'm locked in for. I'm liking it. Hey, Jason, just finished the episode. I like it overall. My only complaint is this shouldn't be a 10-episode season. Would have been better as a 3-part, 2-hour each miniseries. Interesting. It is 8 episodes, though. It's not 10, it's 8 episodes. But that kind of goes into your theory here. Making it is, all part of it. Kind of shorter, more condensed. No, he's not dead. They wouldn't have done his death like that. He just fainted. Because yeah, Neil really did shine in this episode, didn't he? He really did. All right, gang. We're going to start to round it up here on the channel for our immediate thoughts. So make sure you get your final thoughts out. But do not fear, we are back here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern, for a full roundtable review and breakdown with Tony and Kai for Cut to the Sith Side. You want to be a part of it. It's always a great time. Tim, you just got here. There's always some. Look at all you legends coming in right at the end. I love it. No, Neil's not dead. Why is Yava going nuts? Get him to get in here. I want to know why Yava is going nuts. What's with the @planet names? Well, we'll find out. We'll find out. Some sort of a group of planets that are kind of controlled by someone. By someone? Oh, you are going nuts. That's crazy. I love it. They didn't kill Neil. Why do you think they did not kill Neil? He's not dead. He's not dead, brother. He just fainted. He ain't dead. He ain't dead. Because he didn't get hurt. Like, nothing happened to him. He wasn't injured in any way. I love it. I love it. But like I was saying, Cut to the Sith Side tomorrow. We'll be breaking down the episode completely. So make sure you're back in for that. That's hilarious. Start of a heart attack. Imagine he's like a 10-year-old and he died from a heart attack. I love it. Also, shout out to the little trunk noises that he was making all episode. Absolutely brilliant. So good. Absolute, pure, wholesome, fantastic. I love it. 10 out of 10 for this episode purely for his trunk sound effects. Really great stuff. Great stuff. No one's... Why? Trump's so triggered. He's not dead. He's not dead. Damn it, Troha. Well, thank you so much for joining the Theories, Julie. It's so great to have you in the chat talking about it. It was such fun. Such fun. All right, gang. Well, thank you so much for being here tonight. I'll catch you tomorrow for the full review. And make sure, if you're staying up late, my reaction video will be out very, very soon. If not, catch it in the morning with your breakfast blue milk cereal. Until then, my friends, I hope you have a fantastic rest of the night. And make sure to always choose the right side.